for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't here for my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. I see a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on their necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regret, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric
It's a cut on the gas, other one on their necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine, you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine.
Nobody knows why liars lie. Winners are not allowed to allow losers to rewrite history. It's God's side and the other side.
Country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good, Uber bitch, and look like Mr. Potato Head.
I didn't want to be a movie star.
No, you couldn't be a movie star. Ricky Smiley can't act, cause Ricky Smiley can't act. Why is he in a dress again? He didn't be wanting to Barbie, and you gotta tell him no. Sid ain't got no special, you remember? Steve ain't got no special, you remember? Ricky ain't got no special, you remember? Sir, I have 12 comedy specials. If you Diddy or whoever you is, TVJ, 20 of them, I won't stop burning you down until there ain't nothing left. Rubble on top of rubble, and I'll still be bombing. Look like a wall, Richie. Look like a wall. You didn't say no. Look like a wall, Richie. Look like a wall. You didn't say no.
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your daily vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. Once again, Trump is up to his old BS. Now, I had something else planned to go live about, but due to the circumstances of Trump and ICE, I felt this is I'm not going to say it's more important, but it is important to talk about. And also, I'll just save the other report for tomorrow. Okay, I already have everything uploaded and all of that, so got all my receipts gathered, so we'll talk about it tomorrow. Now, that all being said, hello Claudette, Deronda, Juju B is in the virtual building. All right, let's get into it. Regina G from the land. All right, Fly Gal is here. Okay, so with that all being said, I see you, Claudette. Truth Montage. Okay, so shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuned into the Queen. Y'all know I love me some you. And shout out to my moderators because they be putting in work. Now, before we get into it, hey, Buckhorse DC says Iran just threatened United Snakes. I bet they did, honey. Hey, Mel. Okay, so with that I've been said, without further ado, let's have a brief word from my sponsor, and then we'll get into it.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right, so with that all being said, don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes Hair Oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, now with that all being said, let's get ready to get into it. And don't forget that she also sells beard oil. Okay. Now, yes, they certainly have. As about an hour ago, Iran warned of retaliation. We're going to get into all of it. All right, we're going to get into all of it. But first things first, let's talk about Trump. I'm sorry, you all. I'm sucking on a cough drop. Okay, let's talk about Trump having talks with Greenland, and then he also talks about the killings going on in Iran. So now this just came out 2 hours ago. 2 hours ago. So we're going to get into it. Lights up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. All right, here we go.
Told you that the killings have stopped there. And if it's the
We
Iranian
have been informed by very important sources on the other side, and they've said the killing has stopped and the executions won't take place. There was supposed to be a lot of executions today, and that the executions won't take place. And we're going to find out. I mean, I'll find out after this. You'll find out. But we've been told on good authority, and I hope it's true. Who knows, right? Who knows?
We've seen the body bags, so how do you trust
No,
them?
you've seen that over the last few days, and they said people were shooting at them with guns, and they were shooting back, and it's one of those things. But they told me that there'll be no executions, and so I hope that's true.
Does this mean military action is now off the table against Iran?
We're going to watch it and see what the process is, but we were given a very good statement by people that are aware of what's going on.
Is he still considering military action?
When they say no executions, everyone is talking about a lot of executions were taking place today. We were just told no executions. I hope that's true. That's a big thing. Yes, ma'am.
The foreign minister of Greenland, she said a while ago in a press conference in an embassy of Denmark that she made very clear in the meeting that happened here in the White House what are their limits. She also said that it was a very respectful meeting. Are those limits going to be respected?
Well, we're going to see what happens with Greenland. We need Greenland for national security, so we're going to see what happens. They're going to brief me on the meeting right after this conference. In fact, the sooner I get you out, the faster I'm going to know exactly what happened. But we have a very good relationship with Denmark, as you know. We'll see. But, we're doing the Golden Dome. We're doing a lot of things, and we really need it. If we don't go in, Russia's going to go in, and China's going to go in. And there's not a thing that Denmark can do about it, but we can do everything about it.
There's no more in what they can do there?
Well, we're going to see. I mean, look, we're going to see what happens, but we need it. I'm not the first one. This was talked about by President Truman, and 40 years before President Truman, they were talking about it. They've been talking about this for 100 years. This is not anything so new. A lot of people don't realize that, but this was a hot subject. Probably not as hot as it is now, but it was a hot subject for a long time. We need it for national security, and that includes for Europe. And I spoke with, as you know, Mark, the head of NATO, and he really wants to see something happen. It's very important for national security.
It's being reported that Health and Human Services released frozen funds to Planned Parenthood. I'm wondering why this happened and why Planned Parenthood is receiving any federal funds.
I don't know anything about that. Bobby, do you know anything about that?
What was the question?
It's being reported that frozen funds were released to Planned Parenthood in December by HHS. I'm wondering why that happened.
I haven't heard that. I have not heard that.
Mr. President, on NATO, right now, it sounds like you are saying that you would potentially acquire Greenland by force. That would be a NATO country.
Well, you're saying that.
Are you saying that? Would you do
No,
that?
you're saying that.
Would you
I
acquire
didn't
that by
say it.
force
No,
right
you're
now?
telling me that that's what I'm
I
going to
think
do.
we're-
You don't know.
Now, I want you all to pay close attention because he's saying, you don't know that. No, you're saying that. Hasn't he literally said that himself? Isn't she simply repeating what he's already said? Okay, I want you all to pay attention because he's basically said in so many words that he's going to take it by any means necessary, that no matter what, he needs it and he's going to get it. Okay? Queen of Nourishment, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube channel member, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. I mean, just sitting up here feigning stupidity.
What I'm going to do.
So what are the options?
You're
that
not,
Or shall I say ignorant?
or doesn't know either.
The Danish foreign minister said that there's still fundamental differences after the meeting with Rubio and with the vice president. Are you willing to leave the NATO alliance in order to get what you want with Greenland? What are the options right
Well,
now?
I wouldn't be telling you what I'm willing to do, certainly. I'm not going to give up options, but it's very important. Greenland's very important for the national security, including of Denmark. And the problem is not a thing that Denmark can do about it if Russia or China wants to occupy Greenland. But there's everything we can do. You found that out last week with Venezuela. There's everything we can do about things such as that. Not going to happen. We're not, I can't rely on Denmark being able to fend themselves off. They were talking about they put an extra dog, and they were serious about this. They put an extra dog sled there last month. They added a second dog sled. That's not going to do the trick.
Denmark fought.
Hear this man? He said the people told him that they put an extra dog sled. He said that's not going to do the trick. This man is a fool, okay? Now, with that all being said, look at his hands. Yeah, Alice said covering hands again. Exactly. I don't know how he just sits there the whole time. Okay, with his hands folded like that. I am so through with Trump talking about an extra dog sled.
Alongside the United States and both Afghanistan.
Thank you for
and
telling me
Iraq.
that. I appreciate it.
But
I have a very good relationship
They're
with
an
Denmark,
ally
and
of
we'll
the
see how it all
United
works out. I think something will work out. Yeah.
Mr. President.
From Venezuela, Cabello, the de facto number 2 in Venezuela right now, he seemed pretty reluctant to work with the U.S. And obviously he's
Yes, they just gave us 50 million
Cabello,
barrels of oil.
the number 2, the Venezuela security
I don't
chief.
know. I know the number one. We just had a great conversation today, and she's a terrific person. I mean, she's somebody that we've worked with very well. Marco Rubio is dealing with her. I dealt with her this morning. We had a long call. We discussed a lot of things, and I think we're getting along very well with Venezuela. Yes.
Mr. President, created a new Assistant Attorney General position dedicated to rooting out fraud.
Yeah, he's fantastic. The person is fantastic.
Who is it?
It's a he.
When are you
I will
gonna-
tell you maybe within minutes. I mean, I don't know if it's appropriate to say yet because we're going through a process, but we have chosen a person who's very tough, very smart, very fair.
And
You gave a
Mr.
speech
President,
yesterday in Michigan about how you've recalibrated the American economy to work for workers, U.S. auto factories. We've seen core inflation's completely tamed. You lowered the trade deficit to the lowest amount since 2009. American exports are growing, but we're all still waiting on the Supreme Court case for the tariffs. Given the success that you've had in the first 12 months, what is at stake in this case,
It's a
sir?
little bit like whole milk. I can't believe we even have a case. This was a case started by very China-centric people and also anti-American people, frankly, people that don't want us to do well. Tariffs have helped us stop 8 wars. They've helped us get the best trade numbers we've ever had. They've helped us get $18 trillion brought into the country. And maybe above all else, they've given us tremendous national security. Just the threat of tariffs. You saw that just yesterday when I put tariffs on a certain country. We won't talk about that country, but you know who it is, based on the fact that if you do business with that country, it's going to make them, it's going to bring them to the table a lot faster. So we have made hundreds of billions of dollars with tariffs. We have very little inflation. Think of it. Inflation's gone down and productivity, everything has gone up. We've never taken in money like we have.
Okay, I'm sorry. These are outright lies. Okay, I showed you the video today earlier where the lady debunked it. Okay, inflation is a real thing. He's acting like we're making all this money. Nobody's making money but him. And I also told you all that it has been said that there are some countries that have stopped purchasing from the U.S. Okay, because of Trump. But let's continue.
We've never had anywhere near $18 trillion invested in our country, neither has any other country. It's the biggest number by maybe 5 times. 5 times, not 5%, 5 times. Nobody's ever seen numbers like this. We have plants going up. You know, you mentioned I was in Michigan yesterday. I was at the Ford plant where they make the Ford 150. It's one of the original plants. It was from before World War I. It's a giant plant. That plant was probably going to be closed. And 2 years ago, they were doing very poorly. And now they just announced yesterday that they're going to go 24 hours around the clock, 3 shifts, which they rarely do. That's Ford. And Ford's having the best numbers they've ever had. General Motors having the best numbers they've ever had. Stellantis, which hasn't been here, is now investing billions, tens of billions of dollars on building in the country. We're building auto plants all over the country. We're building AI all over the country. We're leading China by a lot, and a lot of it has to do with tariffs. That would be a very disappointing decision. And especially since the people that are fighting me are people that want China to do well. And we're doing great against China. We're doing great against everybody. We're the hottest country anywhere in the world. As I say often, we're right now the hottest country anywhere in the world. And a year and a half ago, we were a dead country.
Why does he always say that America is the hottest country in the world? Like everybody's just so sexy and lay it out on the beach in bikinis and briefs. What is wrong with him? Do y'all hear this idiot? The Emperor Rex said, flush the toilet, please. Let's continue. This man is crazy.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Okay. Now, with that all being said, let me just tell you all something. So ICE is supposedly out here kneeling on people's necks, okay, talking crazy, being very violent as per usual. Okay, we're going to get into it. And then, like I said, Trump sent a message to Renee Nicole Good's father. Seems like this man's supposedly on Trump's side. I find it interesting. Okay, I find it interesting. Maybe he didn't like the fact that his daughter was LGBTQ. I don't know, but they were telling Trump that the father is on his side, which is crazy to me. But now, with that all being said, before we get into it, let's talk about Iran and these threats. Okay, and also, France's president, Emmanuel Macron, he has some things to say as well, and we're going to get into that. Okay, so the United States is withdrawing some personnel from bases in the Middle East. A U.S. official said this on Wednesday. Now, after a senior Iranian official said Tehran had warned neighbors it would hit American bases if Washington strikes. Okay, so that's why they're getting the hell up out of there. The personnel's withdrawing and they're leaving. Okay, now with Iran's leadership trying to quell the worst domestic unrest that the country has ever faced, Tehran is seeking to deter U.S. President Donald Trump's repeated threats to intervene on behalf of anti-government protesters. Trump knows he doesn't care about protesters, not in their country, not in ours. Now, a U.S. official speaking on the condition of anonymity said the United States was pulling some personnel from key bases in the region as a precaution, okay, given heightened regional tensions. Now, Britain was also withdrawing some personnel from an air base in Qatar ahead of the possible U.S. strikes. Now, a source familiar with the matter said on Wednesday, they said a spokesperson for the Ministry of Defense said the department did not comment on details of basing and deployments due to security. So they say the UK always puts precautionary measures in place to ensure the security and safety of our personnel, including, where necessary, withdrawing personnel. Now, 2 European officials said U.S. military intervention could come within the next 24 hours. Okay, so be prepared for it all to go down. Now, an Israeli official also said it appeared Trump had decided to intervene, though the scope and timing remained unclear. Now, all of the signals are that a U.S. attack is imminent. Okay, it's basically going to happen. But that is also how That is also how this administration behaves, pretty much to keep everyone on their toes. Unpredictability is part of the strategy. Okay, this is what a Western military official told Reuters earlier today. Now, Iran temporarily closed its airspace at 5:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today to all flights except international ones to and from the country with official permission. And this is according to a notice posted on the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration's website. They say the prohibition is set to last for more than 2 hours until 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but could be extended. Okay, that's what the notice said. Now, they say the death toll in Iran from the unrest has climbed to almost 2,600. I think it's more because earlier today it was reported, and I reported to you that it was 3,000, and they said that it could be as high as 12,000. Okay, they weren't sure because they weren't able to get an accurate assessment. Now, with that all being said, news agency Rana said on Wednesday, as Tehran stepped up diplomatic contacts with U.S. allies in the region, that the U.S.-based, this is a U.S.-based human rights activist agency. Now, they say Iranian authorities have accused the U.S. and Israel of fomenting the unrest, okay, carried out by people that it calls armed terrorists. Now, I want you all to pay attention because what did I tell you all earlier this year? I'm sorry, not this year, last year. What did I tell you all before the end of last year? I told you all, and I think it was actually at the beginning of last year, when Trump first got sworn in, because nefarious help. I warned you all that Trump was going to get us involved in a war with Iran, and that he would do so because he was going to be defending Israel, because they've been beefing with Iran. I told you all that, and now here we are. Okay, so Trump can make all these excuses that, oh, it's about the protests. He doesn't care about protesters. Okay, we already know that. You heard the lies that he told on Renee Nicole Good. All right, so anyway, with that all being said, U.S. President Donald Trump has vowed very strong action if Iran started executing protesters, but didn't elaborate. Said if they hang them, you're going to see some things. This is what he said on CBS earlier today. I played it for you. He also urged Iranians on Tuesday to keep protesting and to take over institutions, declaring help is on the way without giving any details. Now, I want you all to pay attention to this because he's telling them, he urged them on Tuesday to keep protesting and take over institutions. Now, but he wants to act as though he didn't incite what happened at the Capitol. He's telling them to do the same thing, take over institutions, keep protesting, knowing that they're getting killed. Okay, that's crazy. All right, that's crazy. Now, would he tell the people out protesting in the U.S. to keep protesting? Of course not. So the U.S. State Department earlier this week urged American citizens to leave Iran. Global Affairs Canada strengthened its travel advisory on Tuesday, urging Canadians to leave Iran now if they do so or if they want to stay safe, okay? The advisory also added more information about overland crossing to Armenia and Turkey. But Trump made a vague statement Wednesday that he's been told that planned executions in Iran have stopped. Okay, we heard him say that, and I don't believe Trump. He said they told him that they weren't going to do any of these executions. Listen, I don't think the people of Iran told him that. I think Trump is once again lying, just like he always does. Okay, that's what I think he's doing. Now, let's go to what President Macron had to say. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Okay, it looks like I'm going to have to look for that, unfortunately. But hold on. Let's talk about Denmark saying there's a fundamental disagreement with Trump over Greenland. Okay, so a top Danish official said Wednesday that a fundamental disagreement over Greenland remains with President Trump after holding highly anticipated White House talks with Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Now, the two sides, however, agreed to create a working group to discuss ways to work through differences as Trump continues to call for a U.S. takeover, okay, of the semi-autonomous territory of NATO ally Denmark. Now, the group, in our view, should focus on how to address the American security concerns, okay, while at the same time respecting the red lines of the Kingdom of Denmark. This is what Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen, okay, told reporters after joining Greenland's Foreign Minister Vivian Motzfeldt for the talks. Now, he added that it remains clear that the president has this wish of conquering over Greenland. Trump is trying to make the case that NATO should help the U.S. acquire the world's largest island and says anything less than it being under American control is absolutely unacceptable. Denmark, meanwhile, announced plans to boost the country's military presence in the Arctic and North Atlantic as Trump tries to justify his calls for a U.S. takeover of the vast territory by repeatedly claiming that China and Russia have their designs on Greenland, which holds vast untapped reserves of critical minerals, as I told you all. And China or Putin say that they wanted to take over or annex Greenland. Okay, I don't recall them ever saying it. Trump always paints narratives and makes up lies to try to justify his BS. Now, the president did not take part in Wednesday's meeting. In an Oval Office exchange with reporters following the talks, he reiterated his commitment to acquiring the territory, said we need Greenland for national security. So basically, J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio spoke with him, and they're supposed to brief Trump after the meeting that we all just witnessed. Okay? But at the end of the day, nobody around the world is trusting the U.S. right now. Okay, so while I'm looking for, oh, here it is. I was just about to say, while I'm looking for Macron, I was going to show you all that ice in just a second. Lights up, everyone. Don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance.
Everybody think in France, in the European Union, that Greenland is not to be sold, not to be taken. The situation in Greenland is clearly a wake-up call for all the Europeans. And let me tell you very directly that you are not alone. And when a strategic message is sent to you, I want just for you to know that it's clearly perceived by the Europeans as targeting a European land. And this flag you have here is our common flag. And we know our common values. And we know our long-standing choices. And this is why it's very important for French people and all the European people to convey very clearly this message of solidarity and the fact that we stand with you now, for today, and for tomorrow. Everybody think in France, in the European Union,
So there you have it. So France and Iran have both issued warnings to Trump. Now, with that all being said, let's look at this ICE agent, a rising tide of revulsion. Okay, that's what they say. National backlash to ICE on American streets. Here we go.
Scene after scene of increasingly brutal conduct by federal agents, often targeted at U.S. citizens these days, and an avalanche of disinformation from Donald Trump and his cabinet about what the Trump administration is actually doing on our streets and in our cities. The American people are, at least for now, choosing to believe their own eyes and their own ears. That contrasts to 34% of Americans who say it's making the country safer. That is a 30-point swing, a 30-point shift from a year ago, from the start of Donald Trump's second presidency. That same poll shows that more people now say that ICE should be abolished than say that we should keep ICE. A dramatic, seismic political swing is the result, it's the consequence of people seeing scenes like these out of Minneapolis. We'll take you through them. Yesterday, a woman who says she's disabled was violently yanked out of her car. Her window was smashed. Her seatbelt was cut to yank her out of the car. There she is resisting. She said she was just driving down the street where a protest happened.
Now, this is so infuriating. Why in the world is that even necessary? If they wanted to get her out of the car, they couldn't just stop the car and ask her to get out. They had to do all of that. Like, this is crazy as hell.
Happened to be taking place and was just on her way to go to the doctor. She's trying to get to a doctor's appointment. This is from Sunday. An ICE agent is kneeling on the neck of a protester, a particularly shocking and disturbing and jarring image from any standpoint, much less Minneapolis, where George Floyd was murdered 5 years ago. In a statement, the Department of Homeland Security insisted that the minimum amount of force necessary was used. And then they said that this video represented a, quote, split second of the incident. Smashed a car window and took a driver into custody. That same day, ICE agents smashed the window of a car. They pulled 2 activists out of the car, and then they detained them. Here they are yanking them out of the car, physically throwing them onto the car.
And what I want you all to pay attention to is that they have no problem doing this to white people. I want y'all to pay attention because all of these white folk that voted for Trump, some of them are the ones out there getting abused. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. Yes, ICE is purely out of control, Mel. I agree. Okay, I absolutely agree. But I just want you all to pay attention to how they don't care about who they do that to. Okay, that's why Black people stay your asses out of the streets. We don't have anything to do with this. Okay, we are indigenous to this country. Okay, we're indigenous to this country, so you don't need to be out there protesting. This is not our problem. At the end of the day, please pay attention.
On Monday, ICE agents also rammed Christian Molina's car, then stopped him to check his immigration status. Here's what he told our colleague, reporter Alex Tabbitt.
I was going down the road, coming to my mechanic to get my other car fixed. My wife was following me behind. So I was driving down the road and I saw this ICE car in the alley. And so I was driving by, I just looked at them. Once I looked at them, they like ran into me right away, like start following me for no reason, just because I looked. So I got a little scared at first. I was like, why is this car following me for? I didn't make no violation, any traffic violation. So I kept on going. Once I took another left, they speed up and they just ran into my car and hit me, like trying to stop me.
You're an American citizen?
I am, yes.
Why do you think they stopped you?
Because I look Latino. I'm brown and I got mustache.
No one, not even city officials, are spared from the use of force and brutal tactics on the part of ICE agents. A federal agent was filmed shoving Elliot Payne, the president of the Minneapolis City Council. Here's what he said in an interview on our network.
It feels like a military occupation. It feels like we're under assault by our federal government. We're seeing people walking around with assault rifles and full military gear, and then they will just dump people off without medical care after essentially torturing them. And this is the most un-American thing I can imagine.
The backlash, growing backlash from the public to scenes of brutality in Minneapolis is where we start today. Senior contributing editor, Minneapolis native Michelle Norris is with us. She was on the ground all week covering the story and the response among its citizens.
Now, why in the hell is Bobblehead up there? This doesn't concern you, Bobblehead. Why is Bobblehead up there to speak on it? All right, let's continue.
Minneapolis. With me at the table, Media Matters President Angela Carasone is here. And joining us at the table as well, host of Politics Nation, President of the National Action Network, the Reverend Al Sharpton. Michelle, I start with you. Some of these incidents happened or were starting to happen while you were there. You covered a woman being profiled or seemingly profiled and taken from a bus stop. But all those other incidents obviously happening in full view of bystanders who are taking video of them seem to be escalating on the part of ICE. Where do residents of Minneapolis fear this is heading?
They fear that we haven't seen the bottom of it. They fear that the escalation is going to continue because the numbers are increasing. They're sending more agents from ICE, from CPB into the city. And at a moment where you think that they might be trying to de-escalate this, you know, after the killing of a woman, after all these incidents that are all over the evening news, on the front page of the newspapers, they're doing just the opposite. Nicole, the line between policing and warfare is getting uncomfortably fuzzy. And when riot gear functions more as a provocation than protection, we should all be, you know, concerned about that. No matter where you live in Minneapolis, you're affected by this. Most of the pictures you showed were very near where I grew up. I recognize these streets, but if you live in the suburbs, if you live in the outer rung of the city, if you even live elsewhere in the state, the raids are happening all over the state.
This is just horrendous, okay? It is absolutely horrendous. Okay, LeVar says, dang, Queen, I'm just now getting here, and the first thing I hear is you calling someone a bobblehead. Let's talk about Al Sharpton, because he's always clout chasing, beloved. We know he doesn't really do anything except just talk, okay? Thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings.
Impacted in some way because people aren't showing up for work at hospitals, at schools, at restaurants. Your local dry cleaner may not be able to deliver your clothing because there's nobody working out back. They're arresting people and taking them out of cars and then just leaving the cars in the road. And so there are traffic jams. There was a case where they pulled someone out of a car and they didn't put the car in park. And so the car starts, you know, rolling toward people walking on the sidewalk. And luckily they were able to get in that car and put it in park.
Do you all hear this? This is complete and utter madness. Okay, I'm sorry. Are we in 1945 Germany? Because that's what this looks like. Okay, that's what this looks like. And smashing windows, yanking people out, kneeling on people's necks, torturing people, and then dropping them off bloody, like in the video I showed you all this morning. This is all so sick. Okay, Trump has unleashed hell upon the land. I want you all to pay attention. But who told us about this? Who said he was going to put the military out here against the people? Well, Kamala sure said, and she wasn't lying.
Before it hit somebody. But Keith Ellison told me this weekend, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison said it feels like the Trump administration has declared war on the state of Minnesota. From the pictures that you've shown, it looks like they have declared war on the state of Minnesota. And people throughout the state, whether they're Democrat or Republican, whether they're immigrant or not, are really concerned about this now.
Now, does anyone know why Trump is doing this to Minnesota? Does anyone have a clue? Does anyone have a clue? This is all for him to send a nefarious message to Governor Tim Walz. That's what this is all about, okay? That's what this is all about. To send a message to Tim Walz. All right? That's what it is. Trump is so idiotic. It's ridiculous. And you know, if this keeps up, and which I'm sure it will, he's going to declare martial law, like I told you all. That's what this is all about. Here's the thing. Now, you all heard this lady say the same thing that I said days ago. After they shot Renee Nicole Good, I said you would think that ICE would have calmed down as to keep people safer so they don't end up killing anyone else. But no, they have amped it up even more so. They have escalated it. Okay? So this is apparent what they want to do. And I told you all that they're trying to stoke, in my opinion, trying to stoke, you know, tensions and trying to get people to retaliate so they can go ahead and Trump can just declare martial law. Okay? So he can scoot past the midterms because he don't want to face it. Steve Bannon knows he's going to jail. Okay? It's already been confirmed. Okay? His conviction is confirmed or affirmed. Okay? But nonetheless, Trump knows if they lose midterms, it's a wrap.
And are worried that it's only the beginning because many of the ICE combat groups or the enforcement groups, I call them combat groups because they look like they're there for combat, but they're enforcement groups, now have 60-day reservations at the hotels. So that shows that this has got a very long tail. And if this is the way they're responding at the beginning, it's not clear where it's going. They do have until, I think, January 18th to respond to the lawsuit. And maybe that might be a way to narrow the parameters and the scope of these sweeps. But for now, they seem to be more aggressive, and there are more of them on the streets, and that is having a significant impact on the tenor of life throughout the state of Minnesota.
Michelle, I want to play something from a protester who sort of, I think, embodies what the polling shows, that this isn't really right-left. This almost gets into territory of government overreach. And what do you want your government to do in the name of its citizens? Let me play that for you.
Honestly, my neighborhoods, everybody's in fear. Whether you're a citizen or not, like, it's just causing so much chaos. And I live right next to that Target where those two workers were pulled out the other day. And I lean more on the right for a lot of issues. But when it comes to human rights, that's just something that I think is very important for a lot of people.
Again, going into Target, a company that I think has some sort of channel to the administration. I remember when tariffs were announced, there was some pressure on them not to raise their prices. Going in and seizing two employees of a Target violently, no less, later releasing them. What is, and increasingly people with status, legal status, and American citizens being swept up, what is the stated objective to what they say they're doing, Michelle?
Well, you'd have to ask them because it's very unclear. I mean, they said the pretext for this was coming in to root out fraud. If you were going to do that, you would be focusing on accountants and people who were actually involved in fraud, not people who work at Target. So, it's not clear what the objective is, but the impact is increasingly clear. Talk to police, people who work in the police department who said that they've quietly talked to folks in other jurisdictions, police officers in other jurisdictions, who say that they're not certain that in some of them in red states, not sure that they would want federal agents to come in who are accountable to no one. That is not comfortable for anyone. And you mentioned that this happened at a Target. Target is based in Minnesota. It's, one of several very large companies that are based in Minnesota. There are 17 Fortune 500 companies based in Minnesota. If you widen the aperture out to Fortune 800 or Fortune 1000, that number increases by quite a bit. And there's a question about what is the business community going to say about this? That means having to stand up to Donald Trump, which is not comfortable for them. There's some risk assessment there, but this impacts everyday life in Minnesota, and it significantly impacts the economy. Imagine if you're trying to recruit someone to come to the state of Minnesota right now for a job. When I flew, I'm not in Minnesota anymore. I'm back in Washington, D.C. When I flew home, Nicole, I was on a plane with several parents who had taken their children to go see Minnesota schools. Could you imagine as a parent sending your child to a school in the state of Minnesota, a university of the state of Minnesota, a college in the state of Minnesota right now? So this has impacts all across the board. And as I've said to you before, I don't know what the stated objective, the formal objective is, but it's clear that in some ways they're using the state of Minnesota as a proving ground to try to get Americans used to the idea of militaristic and very aggressive law enforcement, which could drift into militaristic and very aggressive policing. Ironically, in a city that kicked off a very robust debate and eventually reforms around policing because of what happened to George Floyd.
Okay, this is all just very problematic. Now, with that all being said, let's go to where Trump spoke to Renee Nicole Good's father, or not spoke to him, but he sent him basically a message. Okay, here we go.
So at least 60 people are facing charges for interfering with federal law enforcement in the Twin Cities. And anti-ICE protests are showing no signs of letting up.
And now President Trump is sending a direct message to the father of the woman killed in last week's agent-involved shooting.
Matt Finn joins us now from Minneapolis with the latest. Hey, Matt.
Good morning, everyone. It's been 1 week since Renee Good was shot and killed here in Minneapolis. And since then, the federal government has surged hundreds more agents into the city. Agents used flashbangs last night to deter protesters outside of the federal facility that ICE is using as a detention center. Protesters taunt officers day and night at this location, even launching fireworks at them. And when it turns violent, federal officers use crowd control tactics and take people into custody. Now, clashes between anti-ICE activists and immigration agents, they're not cooling down in the Twin Cities. Yesterday, protesters surrounded federal officers as they were apparently taking people into custody. Minneapolis police tell Fox yesterday they have arrested 31 protesters within the city since demonstrations began. Now, we caught up with Border Patrol on a targeted enforcement. Now, all around the Twin Cities, you hear these ear-piercing whistles. Activists blow the whistles when they see agents to alert the anti-ICE network.
There's all these ear-piercing whistles going on around us right now. What are these people blowing those whistles for?
You know, it's interesting you ask that, Matt. Oftentimes these individuals have no reason or they have no clue why we are in an area. We could arrest, again, a child molester or a child rapist or a murderer, illegal alien, and they don't seem to care. They don't agree with that.
Okay, first of all, he's full of crap. Why wouldn't they agree with those type of people being arrested? But here's the thing. Is ICE supposed to be arresting those sort of people, or is it the police? ICE is supposed to be out there getting people that appear to be in the United States unlawfully. Okay? They know if someone is a molester or a rapist. They know that. Who's giving them information? Because that information is given to police officers. So he's lying. Okay, let's just put that out there. He's lying. He's trying to paint a narrative. That's what he's trying to do. Okay. Thank you. Measure Man said he's making it up. ICE doesn't arrest those criminals. Exactly. He's trying to make the people look like they're so nefarious that no matter what we do, they're out here trying to intervene. They don't even want us, arresting PDF files. That's not it. Okay. That is not it. These people are such idiots.
For some odd reason.
Now, protesters are demonstrating against ICE, also against the shooting death of Renee Good. And in an interview, President Trump gave a message to Renee Good's father.
I want to say to the father that I love all of our people. They can be on the other side. As you say, he might be on my side. He is on your side. And I think that's great. And I do. I think it's great. And I would bet you that she, under normal circumstances, was a very solid, wonderful person. But then her actions were pretty tough. When I've seen it many ways and many different shapes and forms.
Now, yesterday here in Minneapolis, there were a number of sudden resignations inside the U.S. Attorney's Office here, including Joe Thompson. He is the second man in charge here. Governor Tim Walz posting about Joe, quote, "Joe is a principled public servant who spent more than a decade achieving justice for Minnesotans. This is a huge loss for our state. It's also the latest sign Trump is pushing nonpartisan career professionals out of the Justice Department, replacing them with his sycophants." Now, two federal sources tell us that in light of these resignations, the Trump administration is sending additional federal attorneys here into Minneapolis, and that those newer attorneys are going to be aligned with the Trump administration's agenda on immigration prosecutions here in the Twin Cities. Back to you guys in New York.
All right,
Thanks,
Matt.
Thank you.
Okay. DJ Big Six said at least he acknowledged the father. I'm sorry, what? Do you think the average person would not want to hear from him after their daughter lost her life? Specifically, he's responsible for it because he's responsible for putting these thugs out here on the streets who are just attacking anybody and everybody, including people that look like him. So with that all being said, listen, her father, like I said, for them to say that he's on Trump's side, he must not have cared about his daughter. Okay, he must not. Now, had the father came out and talked trash about Trump, do you think Trump will be saying anything to him, offering condolences or anything else? I'm sure he wouldn't. I'm sure he wouldn't. As long as he knows that somebody has given him grace or has favor for him, he does not have a problem saying something to them. Okay? Now, with that all being said, let's go to China's warning to the United States over Venezuela after the Maduro snatch and grab, as I call it. Okay, likes up, everyone, please like and share. I ain't giving Trump credit for nothing except starting all this darn chaos and getting people killed. Wait, there's another person that was attacked by ICE and they could be dead too. Okay, I'm going to go to the video because they look like they were dead. All right.
Washington a warning, not with missiles. With one sentence, Chinese interests in Venezuela will be protected under the law. That wasn't diplomatic filler. That was a line in the sand. After the U.S. captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and transferred him to New York, Beijing didn't threaten retaliation. Instead, China reminded everyone of something quieter and more durable. In 2024, China and Venezuela signed a bilateral investment treaty. That treaty guarantees international arbitration if Chinese assets are harmed. This isn't about statements. It's about enforceable obligations. China has lent roughly $60 billion to Venezuela. About $19 billion is still outstanding. But zoom out. China has over $1 trillion in Belt and Road loans across more than 150 countries. If regime change can erase contracts, then every port, rail line, and power plant Beijing financed becomes a liability. That's the real risk. Some analysts dismiss this as posturing. They point out China has only a handful of overseas bases. The U.S. has hundreds. Donald Trump brushed it off, saying there won't be a problem with Xi. Historically, power speaks with force. But that assumption may be outdated. Here's the pivot point. If China successfully enforces even one arbitration claim against a post-Maduro government, just one, it establishes a precedent that U.S.-backed leadership changes do not void Chinese contracts. That's not a win for Venezuela. That's a shift in global financial power. This won't be decided by aircraft carriers. It'll be decided by contracts and by who can enforce them after the dust settles. Worth watching. Follow us for more.
All right. So with that all being said, we're getting all these threats and warnings from all these different countries and different leaders. Okay, please pay attention. That should let you all know how it's all going down. Now, Iran has warned the United States. France has warned the United States, Denmark, and now you have China. Okay? Now, what do y'all think will happen if all these people just decide to come down on the United States? Okay, Trump is not that bad, honey. He's not as bad as he thinks he is. Now, like I said, let's go to the footage of where this man was laying on the ground after being beaten by ICE, I guess, or what have you. Looks like he's dead to me. Okay, and then there's another video I'm going to show you. Let me go to that one first, where this ICE agent is talking to someone. He says, I love my job. I can't believe I get paid for this. I'd do this for free. Yeah, I bet you would, because this is a whole racist. See, these people out here doing these things, they're completely racist. This is why Black people don't have any business out there. We have enough troubles dealing with the police on a daily basis. Okay? We don't need any extra.
I don't care what they told you. If you guys get in my way, I will arrest you.
Sir, we're just observing. Please calm down.
You can observe all you want.
I am observing. Do you
Stay
see
back.
me in the way? I am back.
You had anger issues as a kid, didn't you? Were your parents present? You should be ashamed of yourself, man.
He is.
I love my job. Thank you.
You love your job?
I can't believe I get paid for this.
Really?
I do this for free.
Really, I get $200K. I'm a physician assistant.
How long did you go to school for that?
Over 7 years.
I went to high school. I make $200K.
People regard me as someone valuable in society. What about you? Is your sense of prestige? No, it doesn't count. Come out and report it.
I don't care what they told you. If you guys get in my way, I will arrest you.
Sir, we're just observing. Please calm down.
You can observe all you want.
I am observing. Do you
Stay
see
back.
me in the way? I am back.
You had anger issues as a kid, didn't you?
He likely did have anger issues as a kid, and he was also likely somebody who got bullied. See, a lot of these people out here are behaving so badly because these are the people that were bullied when they were kids, okay? They were lames, all right? They were the lame kids who got bullied, and now they want to bully other people. That's what that is. Okay, that's what that is. Now, let's go to this footage right here. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. This is the video of where the guy is just laying there and the man speaking thinks that he was killed by ICE. A man was most likely killed by ICE agents in St. Paul, Minnesota, while at a local gas station. Okay, he was piled on by ICE, and witnesses say it looked like they literally ripped his body in half. What? Now, I didn't read all of this. His name is Orban Mauricio Henriquez Serrano, and his truck was found, but he's missing. Do you all hear this? Where the hell is this man? Says it looked like they ripped his body in half. This is getting beyond nefarious, okay? This is crazy as hell.
I just want to give a quick update about the video I posted yesterday, which you just saw a clip of. The person has been identified as of today. His name is Orban Mauricio Henriquez Serrano. A person named Angel Castillo posted on Facebook that he has not been found as of yet. They did find his Jeep, which is abandoned, but ICE has not released any information yet. So they may be in possession of a body and they have not released any information to the public, but the person has been identified. So we do know that. And this happened in St. Paul, Minnesota on January the 11th. It was at a Speedway gas station. So it is real. Not a lot of media has picked it up yet, but it could be another suspected death caused by ICE this week.
Okay, that is absolutely insane. Now, with that being said, the man is not dead. I just found it. I just found proof that he isn't deceased. This was posted on Reddit. It's a 37-second clip. His sister says, okay, it says update on Orban. Hold on, let me go to it. This is all so crazy. Okay, so you all can see this. It says update on Orban Henriquez Serrano in St. Paul, Minnesota. Okay, now this is his sister, Consuelo H. Serrano. She says, my brother is alive. He's in custody, but seriously injured. Apparently, he still hasn't received the medical attention he needs. His knee, which had recently been operated on, oh my God, was severely injured. This is a darn shame. Already had surgery on his knee, and now they've re-injured it. And we also noticed he has a cut on his stomach. That's why they probably said it looked like they split him in half. Okay. The officers were suffocating him with their arms around his neck. They threw him to the ground forcefully. He lost consciousness. That's why it looked like he was dead. Okay. And they didn't even check if he was okay. All of this was captured in photographs. He's in custody and we're trying to raise funds to pay for a lawyer. He didn't have any arrest warrant. This is all so darn sad. Okay, so that's just the video that we already watched and playing in the background. This is absolutely egregious. Okay, this is absolutely egregious. Measure Man says, then the DoorDash lady, they chased into the house. What? This is crazy. Denise says, don't have empathy for anyone. No, they don't. Not even the people who look like them. So you know what they'll do to us. DJ Big Six says, people better be careful spreading wrong information. Okay. Well, you know, that was the wrong information, but it did say likely. It did say likely. He didn't say that he was definitely, but said likely. But listen, what do they expect? It's very, you know what I'm saying? It's very interesting because they took the man and nobody had seen or heard from him. So I just found that all very interesting. Now let's go to this clip right here with some black guy going off, and then I want you all to hear what they say about Kristi Noem, because she's gonna be out of here. Okay, they're taking her up out of here. Okay, now DJ Big Six said nobody's going to jail. Some of these people are absolutely going to jail, beloved. I promise you that. We know for a fact Steve Bannon's going. His conviction's already been affirmed. He's out of here. Okay, now Trump isn't going to jail because he has immunity. We already know that. But some of these devils are going where they need to go.
Shut up, bitch ass nigga. You ain't had that badge on. I beat your ass. Take your shit and pop you with it, nigga. We do that shit. Nigga, stop being scared of me, nigga. I'm talking. Bitch ass nigga. Touch your gun. Touch it, little bitch. You a bitch. Like I said, what you gonna do? Do it. Pull it out. Pull it out. I don't give a fuck. Pull it out, nigga. You see the demon in me, bitch. Pull it out. Pull it out while I'm unarmed. Do it. Do it. Get in your car, nigga. Get in your car. What you saying? Oh, what's up? You still? Man. Stop touching me. Stop touching me. Nigga, what the fuck is you gonna do? What is you gonna do? Yeah, don't waste no time dying on me. I'm telling you. Because we all got shots. What's up? What's up? We all got shots. Scary ass nigga. I'll put that K on you bitch ass niggas. Fuck wrong with y'all. Y'all niggas are bitches.
Y'all heard that. Clearly he's from the hood. Okay, Metro Man said yes. She was delivering DoorDash. ICE grabbed her husband, and she ran in customer's house 2 hours trying to make her come out. Her daughter was in the car. That's just so sad. Thank you for the information, beloved. That is really sad and very concerning. Okay, I appreciate your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. It's getting real out here. Now, here they go talking about Kristi Noem. Let's get into it.
We speak directly to Secretary Noem today. You are terrible at doing your job. You are incompetent. You are shameless. But most of all, you are cruel. The American people do not want you. We do not want you. And we will do whatever we need to do to make sure you will not hold that post soon. God will judge you. And Democrats are going to remove you from office that you never deserved to hold in the first place. We speak directly to Secretary Noem today. You are terrible at doing your job.
She definitely is incompetent, okay, if I may say so myself. Now, with that all being said, some will wait for their justice on Judgment Day, says Denise. Okay, these people are just a bit much. Okay, so now Rachel Maddow talks about how corruption sneaks by while Trump makes a distracting spectacle. Okay, so let's go to that. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
Right off the bat here, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I think I know the name of the person who arguably is the biggest beneficiary of Donald Trump starting an inexplicable war in Venezuela this weekend. And again, I do think it's arguable, but there is a good case to be made, I believe, that the single biggest winner in this whole situation is a person named Karen Bud Phelan. And the reason you can tell she is the biggest beneficiary of the Venezuela invasion is because no one within the sound of my voice right now has any idea who that is. Karen Bud Phelan. Who? Have you ever heard this name before? Has anybody ever heard of this person? No? No, nobody knows who this person is. Karen Bud Phelan is the number 3 official in the Interior Department under Donald Trump. She also served in the same department during Trump's first term. Karen Bud Phelan's family has a ranch in Nevada, and there's a company that wanted to build a huge mine, a huge lithium mine in that part of Nevada. And lithium mines, among all their other many splendid things, they do take a ton of water. So during Trump's first term, while Karen Bud Phelan was working at the Department of the Interior, Karen Bud Phelan's husband sold the water rights from their ranch in Nevada to the mining company that was going to build this big mine. They said, we're going to pay you $3.5 million for the water from your ranch. The only catch, the only contingency is that the full deal only goes ahead if our mine gets approved by the Interior Department. If our mine doesn't get approved, then the deal's off. You can see there's a real financial incentive there, right? If the mine isn't approved, deal's off. But if the mine is approved, you guys are going to get paid millions of dollars. Karen Bud Phelan works at the Interior Department, which has to make the decision about whether or not to approve this mine. During Trump's first term, she meets with the mining company. She meets with them at the cafeteria at the Interior Department. Hey, guys, want to hang out? And then, hey, wouldn't you know it, turns out that mine got approved. And it got approved on a fast track so it could avoid the pesky environmental reviews and all the rest and all the other reason that people were protesting against it in Nevada. But the other result of that approval at the Interior Department is that, bingo, Karen Bud Phelan's family was now going to get paid their millions of dollars. So before Christmas, the publication High Country News and veteran reporters at Public Domain on Substack, they published reporting, really explosive reporting about this top-ranking official in Trump's Interior Department, and what really does appear to be like the simplest possible explanation of what public corruption looks like, right? Like if there's a public corruption child's picture book, this is the kind of story that would be pictured, right? You don't even need words, really, to understand this. Family stands to be paid millions of dollars if government agency does X. Family member from that family works at that government agency. Agency, in fact, does X, so family gets.
Okay, so with that all being said, Ocean Soul said on Mythbusters, they said when all else fails, C4. Okay. C4 when all else fails. Thank you for that tidbit of information, beloved. And thank you for insight into the topic, your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay. Now, the Leo says they might just start arresting Black Americans who look like criminals to them. You know, like I told you all at the beginning, that we should be concerned. Some of you were saying, oh, that's the immigrants, we shouldn't worry about it. I said, listen, they have Black immigrants too, or shall I say heavily drenched in melanin, okay, like the Haitians, Trinidadians, Jamaicans. At the end of the day, they could try and act like they think we're them, Africans and all that. You know, who knows? Who knows? Like I told y'all, we should be paying attention. But that's exactly why you don't need to be out there trying to protest, because this really, right now, it's not our issue. Okay, so now with that being said, let's go to this man. This is off topic. Okay, we're done with Trump for the day. We're done with his nefariousness. We know he's causing world destruction. And you know, here's the thing. Trump is so unpredictable. You don't know where he's going to strike next. Okay, he's making all these threats and talking so big and bad, and we're going to see how it all pans out. But I promise you, it's not going to end up well. Okay, I don't think it is. All right, I just don't think it is. Now, so for now, let's go to this man explains, he explains FBA. Those of you who, Black Americans who call yourself FBA, okay, he supposedly checks an African on disrespect towards foundational Black Americans. So we're going to listen to this. I saw this on TikTok yesterday. We're going to listen to this. And then afterwards, I want you all to hear how the amazing Lucas dragged FBA. Okay? Dragged FBA. And so with that all been said, this is what I told you all on yesterday for anybody who missed it. Yesterday, I played the video of Tucker Carlson. Okay, he was talking to the guy, what's the guy's name? Fish something. If I'm not mistaken, his name is Fish something. I can't remember. But anywho, he was talking to this man, and the man was talking about how he got into with Byron Donalds and he called him a slave. And then Byron Donalds and his people started saying that that was racist and this and that. And so then the guy says that, well, FBA called him to remind him that Donalds is not an African American. He's from Haiti or somewhere, I want to say. I can't remember, but he's not a foundational Black American is what he was saying. And he called him a tether. To which Tucker Carlson was laughing, and he said, "Oh, the FBA's, I like them. I don't agree with everything, but I like them." First of all, Tucker, no, you don't. No, you don't. He had Tariq Nasheed on Fox News once on an interview with him, and he was trying to debate Tariq over this Somalian man who was killed by the police in Washington, I believe it was. So with that all being said, Tucker does not give a damn about foundational Black Americans. And I told you all on yesterday, because some people, were acting like it was a big deal, but I told you all, I said at the end of the day, the only reason they're happy about this is because it's divisive. Because they've already said decades ago that the biggest threat to the United States, it's not a nuclear bomb, it's not a pandemic, disease, or any of that. It is, in fact, Negro unity. Okay? That's what J. Edgar Hoover said. And they all still think it. So that's why they love the divisiveness. And as I told you yesterday, it's really sad that all of us who have the same skin tone, that we just can't get along. Okay, think about the impact if Trinidadians, Africans, Jamaicans, okay, and African Americans and all the other people who look like us. Just imagine if all of us united, okay, against oppression, against the hateful racist rhetoric and everything else that has been done. Just think about that. That would be a serious problem for them. So that's why Tucker Carlson was laughing, okay? But anyway, let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
Foundational Black American.
Yeah.
What is that about? Because I feel like that's pure division, if I'm not going to.
It is. But I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it. This is what it is. There were too many Black people from outside Africa, from outside America, going to America and playing the ass. And what it is African Americans spotted this and spotted that there's a consistent pattern. Black Caribbeans, Black people from Africa going to America and being the ass. And what the FBA agenda is putting up a wall and saying, no, you guys can't be a part of this if you're going to be on that, raccoon train.
When you say playing the ass, what? Because from what I know, a lot of Africans, a lot of Caribbeans who go there, academically, they're surpassing them. And also business-wise, they're surpassing them. So who was playing the ass?
When they then use that to say, well, that means that you African Americans are lazy. Do you see?
Yes.
And then being on some right-wing conservatism, let's throw African Americans under the bus.
That is true.
Let's pretend that Jim Crow didn't happen, redlining didn't happen, breaking up of African American business districts, breaking up of African American families. The COINTELPRO didn't happen. The Iran Contras and then moving drugs into the Black community didn't happen. Yeah. And there's a whole list of things continuing right up until now that the American government has done to African Americans. And so for those Black people recently arrived from outside America, you all didn't face any of that. So of course you're going to be doing better than African Americans.
Yeah. But not all of them can be affected by this. There's always got to be certain people who rise above it, regardless of what the situation is. It's just the natural nature thing. Weeds grow through gardens, you name it. Why do you think it is that a country like Jamaica or Africa, where they too have had their deprivations, had their colonialism, had their slavery, why do they go somewhere and tend to excel amongst people who also have gone through it?
Because you're not comparing like with like, that's why.
Okay.
A lot of us think we are comparing like with like. You're not. Let me explain. Generally speaking, Caribbeans in America, not the ones in the Caribbean, but the ones in America, will represent the top 10%.
I see.
So if you're really going to compare like with like, you have to compare the top 10% of Caribbeans with the top 10% of African Americans.
Okay.
And when you compare the two, the African Americans are slaughtering us, bro. It's not even close. It's a massacre. But what it is we compare the top 10% with your average African American. You're not comparing like with like. And if you compare your average African American, you're 51, you've got 1 to 100 and Mr. number 51. Number 51 is richer by a factor of 20 than your average Jamaican. Do you see? So what happens is it's a perception thing. Now, let's be clear. We can all point to people from outside America. Go to America and rise. Yeah. Colin Powell did that. Kamala Davy Harris has done that, whatever. But you can't pretend that's typical. Do you see?
Yeah.
But what happens is because we live in a world where people don't really have full pictures, you can take the exception, use that to smack around African Americans' faces. This guy just got off the boat. He's doing better than you. Not realizing, but for my man to have got on the boat in the first place, he wasn't typical of the country that he was coming from. He was in the top echelons of that country. Do you see?
Yeah.
And the same is true also with people from Africa going to Black America. So if we're going to compare the top 10%, let's compare the top 10%. And when we do that, African Americans are slaughtering us. There are
your views on Tariq Nasheed, because he's got this.
Let me tell you all something. That man broke that down very eloquently. Okay, that's the best breakdown on it, okay, that I've ever heard. He broke it down better than Tariq has. Okay, now that all makes sense. And see, that's what they need to understand. You're not coming here doing better than all of us. There's plenty of us that are doing better than some of them. And that's just what it is. And also in the way of education, absolutely, because it was reported, I want to say around 2018 and 2019, that Black women, the largest group of the most educated people in the United States, was Black women, period. That's a fact, okay? So I'm sorry, we're not just here being lazy and acting stupid, not all of us anyway. And there's good and bad in every group of people, no matter your race or ethnicity. That's just the fact. Okay, now for someone who said that we never came from Africa, well, see, I don't identify as an African American. I think I told you all that. Okay, I think I told you all that, and I've even shown you my paperwork years ago. Okay, I don't identify as African American. Now, I use the term because that's what people are familiar with. Okay, but I myself am indigenous to this land. Okay, my ancestry is with the natives of this land, period. Okay, so that all being said, James Baldwin said the Indian is you. That's right. And that's what I identify as, a North American Indian of Cherokee descent. Okay, now some people will say we're not Indians, but yeah, some of us are. Okay, some of us are. My grandmother looked like a whole Indian squaw, period. Okay, so now with that all being said, and Shaka Khan, Pam Grier, back in the 70s, they rocked that stuff. Okay, they wore their headdresses and all that because they knew who they were. People have been dumbed down and fed a bunch of propaganda, so you lose yourself and don't know who you are. And then you think that you're a guest in your own house. Okay, because there were Black people everywhere. You think God created this whole big world, this vast world, and there was only people in one region and they migrated to different places? No, there was people all over this world, and that's just facts. Now, with that all being said, even though the first people are said to have been in Africa, which I believe, but at the end of the day, there were people all over this world. And then for all we know, there were people traveling across those oceans before they were brought across those oceans as well. Now, with that all being said, and they taught you slavery in reverse. That's another thing. Maybe we should watch that documentary one day. I think I might show it to the members on this channel. Okay, so now let's go to what the amazing Lucas had to say about his thoughts on FBA.
This isn't a flex. For those who don't know, the video is of Tucker Carlson and this dude named James Fishback. These two demons have used the lexicon of a fringe group of black Americans, and they have mentioned the words FBA and tether. FBA is a moniker that stands for Foundational Black American. It's tantamount to ADOS, African Descendants of Slaves, Black American, Black, African American, the list goes on. We've had many names colored. The list goes on. That's what it means. This is the new word that, people are calling themselves now. Fishback also says that, hey, these people are absolutely American, right? And then Tucker Carlson's going, yes, absolutely. I love these guys. I love this Tariq Nasheed guy and everything. They're really good. They're real fun. This is not the flex that many people are making it to be. And when you see Tweedledum and Tweedledee, these two demons, and they are demons, because they're big upping these people for mentioning, FBA and tether, like, oh, we've made it. I saw one post where this person actually said that. It was like, Negro, we made it. We did it. Instead of actually wanting empowerment, there is a group of these black Americans who are nothing more than Sambo soldiers themselves, but they have managed to do mental gymnastics to try and act as if they're for black empowerment. And they're about the black people, okay? We really about black people and everything. But in all actuality, they're nothing more than, Sambo soldiers. They want a pat on the head. That's what they want. They want acknowledgement. Instead of actual policy legislation, they want acknowledgement because they constantly want to complain about Democrats, right? The hustle is they're not for Republicans, but all the criticism is levied against Democrats. A lot of these Negroes have already gotten the $7K check from Israel. Oh, the Democrats this and the Democrat that and the Democrat this. This is Fishback and Tucker Carlson talking about FBA. I like those guys. And yeah, they're American. This is the same thing as Hillary Clinton and the hot sauce, all right? And do I need to say anything about Tucker Carlson? They know that these Negroes just want a pat in the head. They know that they don't really want reparations. They don't care about reparations. They don't care about, police reform. They don't care about any of that. They don't care about black women dying in the hospital. What they want is a pat on the head. They want, to be seen in the eyes of massa that, hey, y'all not like them people over there. You know that, right? You're special, okay? They want to be house Negroes. The same group of people who constantly talking about, oh, they ain't never done nothing for us, are the same group of people who tell you to sit on the couch. Hashtag sit on the couch. These are the same group of people who don't know who the representatives are, don't know who represents them in Congress, much less the House or the Senate, don't know how basic civics, but they want to tell you, hashtag cut the check. These are the same group of people that will attend a reparations rally with no one in any position of power attending the reparations rally. Who has given you this false sense of, black power or whatever? Because all it is nothing more than whitewash, white supremacy. Because if there is no action, and I've said this before, there is no leader. Oh, it's a lineage. Look, it's a lineage. I hear you. That's great, boo-boo. But we've been had a lineage. These mofos just want acknowledgement. They want delineation. Okay, delineate. I ain't got a problem with that. But where does that get me? What policy does that get me? What legislation are we looking at? What bills are we looking at? Huh? Nothing. Right? Because as I said, there's no leader. So if there's no leader, there's no game plan. So what you have is chaos. There is no code. And I find it hilarious that the group of people constantly want to talk about, oh, you off code and this code and that code. It's like, if there is no enforcement of the code, then there is no code. Y'all are, getting shoulder to shoulder with these people who despise you. Do you think Tucker Carlson cares about reparations? Huh? Do you think Tucker Carlson cares about police reform? Do you think Tucker Carlson cares about what's going on in Chicago or any type of black lived experience? Do you think this fool cares about black Americans, FBA or whatever? No. He is using these group of people to incite and foment hatred for Byron Donalds. That's all he's doing. He is trying to win an election. So if he can get these useful idiots, which is what they are, to side with him, then that's a good thing for him. So until Negroes, until black people, black Americans, ADOS, FBA, whatever y'all want to call yourselves, until y'all stop wanting a pat on the head and acknowledgement from these demons, from this lineage of evil, we ain't going to get anywhere. This is the one game that determines all those other games, bruh. And we are the only group of people that has been a problem to these races. Everyone else kowtows. Asians, Indians, Latinos, even African immigrants. Okay? The tethers, as they want to say. But we are the only group of people who are like, nah, that's some BS. I ain't doing that. How do we, silence these group of people? How do we domesticate these group of people so they don't see us as a threat? Simple. Make them feel inferior. That's what they do. And the only way that they can feel inferior, or the only way that they can overcome that inferiority, is via our approval.
And they're unequivocally heritage Americans. That's for sure. 100%. They're definitely heritage Americans, if anyone is.
You got more hatred and animosity and disdain for an African immigrant than Tucker Carlson and James Fishback. You've lost the plot. because that is a self-destructive mindset to have, where you big up a racist because, I don't know, they talk like you. I find it just hysterical that we would be more accommodating to two anti-black racists than a black immigrant who's just trying to survive. Because what should be happening? They should be protesting right now, if anything. They should be livid with Fishback and Tucker Carlson taking black talking points and mentioning them out of their freaking demonic mouths. They have stained the words FBA and Tether by them even mentioning them. Instead of you all giving them big ups and saying, oh, we made it, you should be livid that these two racists who are going, one who is looking to be in a significant amount of power, being the governor of Florida, and Tucker Carlson, who has a direct line to Trump, have done nothing for these group of people that they believe are real Americans. Y'all Negroes want to be happy because they called your name.
James, what's something that is such a big issue in America that Republican politicians won't talk about?
The Great Replacement and white genocide, they're both real, and I'm running for Florida governor to stop it. It should not be this hard for Americans to exist in their own country. The entire premise of my campaign is that Florida is our home, America is our birthright, and we can never let them steal it from us.
Okay, I don't believe one word of what that man said. And I happen to agree with Lucas as it pertains to Tucker Carlson. I don't agree with everything he said because I told y'all yesterday, Lucas, please sit down. We definitely are serious about reparations. Okay, we do care about police reform and defunding the police and all of that. And we want an anti-black hate crime bill. But other than that, I agree with what he was saying. Why the hell is any foolish black person, because you have to be ignorant, you have to be obtuse to be big upping Tucker Carlson. Okay, and Fishback. They don't give a damn about us. And we know that Tucker Carlson, when he worked on Fox News, he was extremely racist, and he still is. Okay, he got a chuckle out of that, like I told you all on yesterday, because he knows it's divisive. Okay, so if they have to choose between, because here's the thing, please pay attention to how ICE is out there attacking the immigrants and snatching people up. Okay, so are they going to say anything favorable about immigrants? No. Okay, so they'll say something favorable about us because we've been here. Like, miss me with it. Okay, these are the same people that have made excuses why black people killed by the police while unarmed, why they should have just followed orders. Okay, why they shouldn't have been, resisting, even if they weren't. These are the same people who spew propaganda and racist rhetoric. How the hell is any black person with common sense and dignity going to sit there and cape or be so thrilled that Tucker Carlson said anything, okay, acting as though he's in agreement with us? Ocean Soul said, look up what tribe fight Jackson in Florida. Fight Jackson in Florida. I'm not sure what you mean by that, beloved. But thank you for your insight to the topic and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings. Send me something, put another message in there to let me know exactly what you're talking about. Okay, Nini said, I may have missed something, but I haven't seen people big up in Tucker. Well, yeah, they have. They absolutely have. Black people, yes. You may not have seen it. Maybe you're not on all the platforms, beloved, but yes, they were. And I thought he showed a clip of somebody doing it or showed a screenshot or something. Yeah, they were doing it on TikTok. Some black people were so excited to be mentioned by the white man. Okay, they were acting like Fiddler on Roots. Okay, he's not lying. Okay, that's what he's not doing. One thing about Lucas, whether you like what he says or not, he has receipts and he speaks facts. I've never heard him tell a lie yet, is all I'm saying. So anyway, with that all being said, I find it all so nefarious. So, yeah, that's it for now. I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Everyone, please like, share, subscribe. Now, tomorrow, what I had planned for you all today that I wanted to do a video about was, you all remember Rizzy, the TikToker who took her own life. Sadly, I have some more information on that. It's getting real crazy. Okay, the police haven't made an arrest or anything yet, but the people that were bullying her, cyberbullying her, saying all these hateful things, telling her to unalive herself and all of that, they are going through some changes. Okay, they are clearly pressed. They're out here trying to bully other people into not talking about them. They've called the police department. I have the audio. I mean, they're doing all kinds of things, painting narratives and whatnot. And so that's what we're going to talk about. Now, the question is, do you all want to talk about that in the morning or in the evening? Okay. Reggie says, is the mama still walking around naked? No, you're talking about Kanika Jenkins's mother. I don't know, beloved, but I think she has some serious mental health issues. I think the demons are, just torturing her because she sold out her own daughter. That's what I really think. Okay, so Ocean Soul said the Seminoles are a Native American people who emerged in Florida from Creek migrants and escaped slaves. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I have a very good friend that is a Seminole, beloved. Absolutely. Okay, so thank you for the information. Okay, thank you for clarifying also. Okay, Payo Bunyan said white people treat immigrants from Europe like gods. I have to agree. I have to agree. Reggie said in the evening, because I be at work in the morning. That's what I was thinking about, doing it in the evening. And I think that's exactly what I'll do. Okay, so in the morning, we're going to be talking about Trump or whatever he's got going on. But tomorrow evening, we're going to talk about Rizzy. Okay, we're going to talk about Rizzy because, like I said, this information is so crazy. And I have all of the receipts. It took me a while to dig all this stuff up. But nonetheless, we're going to be talking about that tomorrow. So for now, everyone enjoy the rest of this evening. I love you all to life. Okay, I will see you bright and early in the morning with your morning wake-up call. Until then, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. If you're new to the channel, please make sure that you double check to ensure that you're still subscribed to the channel, especially if you notice you're not receiving the notifications. All right, so I will see you all tomorrow. Until next time, peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got